Foreign and Commonwealth Office research shows that nearly half of the British population aged 55 are considering a retirement overseas. It seems that not only are we looking forward to a whole new way of living on retirement, but hundreds of thousands of us want to do just that away from Britain. Expat Money Channel has come along to A Place in the Sun live here at Earl's Court to find out more. What's the real pull for going overseas?
Well, you see a different culture, obviously, but part and parcel of that is when I bought our home in Slovenia, we visit there with our families, we have friends go over, it's a completely different lifestyle.
It's not a place to permanently live, it's a place to escape to. We've got quite a large family, and looking ahead, I suspect it'll get bigger as well.
Something like everybody else, nice view, nice climate, close to the shops and restaurants and
better quality of life, weather, better schooling.
Basically, I think it would just be really nice to be somewhere where I can get a nice quality of life, there'll be loads of sunshine, just something a little bit different.
We're looking at Spain at the moment, yeah, down south, so hopefully. I just can't stand the cold winters any longer.
I think it's somewhere really where you can relax and have a bit of time away. That's the whole idea with it, really.
Are you looking for a holiday home or somewhere more permanent?
Holiday home. Investment-wise, we're thinking about purchasing property for rental and then in the long term moving over. I mean, basically, well, got the weather, got prices cheaper now, and, you know, and it's. I mean, over here it's nice here, but I like the guaranteed weather. I mean, there are places doing guaranteed incomes as well now. So
the lifestyle, especially in Crete, is you're working in yesterday all the time. You know, it's a fantastic way to live. It really is, and the weather and the cost of living, it is cheaper than the UK.
A fascinating insight into the British determination to get away. And who better to advise wannabe expats in finding their dream property than Jonnie Irwin, presenter of Channel 4's immensely popular A Place in the Sun, Home or Away. Jonnie, let's start with your key points to consider when choosing a property location abroad.
I suppose for me, it's all about preparation, really, and really why you want to buy the property. It's very easy to be inspired by amazing locations, the picture postcard beaches, the properties, and also sometimes the rental income that's available to us all. But the most important question is why you want to buy the property. What are you hoping to get out of the property? Are you hoping to get capital appreciation? By that I mean, is it going to be worth more in 5-10 years' time? What's your exit strategy? Do you want to own it for 5 or 10 years or even more? Or do you want rental income? And if you want rental income, will you want to use it yourself? So you need to have a strategy of what you want from the property and why you want to have that property. Also, you need to know what kind of investor you are. Do you want to be a kind of investor that wants 10% return and wants to look in an emerging market? Or are you, like me, a little bit more conservative? Do you want to have steady growth and steady rental income? So I suppose really what I'm asking people to do is ask themselves as many questions as possible before they start flicking through the brochures.
I presume you've seen quite a few common mistakes that people have made in choosing just the wrong location, presumably ignoring all that excellent advice you've just given.
Yeah, property is a highly emotive subject. We Brits are mad on it. We eat, sleep and breathe on it, and I'm no exception to that rule. But to some extent you have to take the emotion out of this. We look at property as an investment. That's how we should see it. Investment means risk. So what we must do is look at the location, look what the location will offer to us. As an investor, we have to look at flights going into an area, but most importantly, and I say it time and time again, it's the preparation and it's the advice you receive. Even I get independent experts in. You know, I'm a general practice surveyor, but that means I know a little about a lot of stuff. So if I'm going to buy in Spain, I will get an expert Spanish lawyer to help me out, and everybody else should do that.
Just on the Spanish property market, a lot of Brits have suffered in this market. I mean, how do you see this panning out in 2010? Is this a market, a country that we should all be avoiding right now?
Everywhere is an opportunity in my book. I see property as an investment. It's a long-term asset. Now, because prices have gone down, because prices have gone down in Spain recently and gone down a lot, it doesn't mean they'll continue to go down. It doesn't mean it's a bad country. What it means is that you need to look into that economy, look into where it might start its recovery, but look into what's happened to the prices. Yeah, there's been a lot of political turmoil, there's been a lot of perhaps terrible stories with land grab scenarios, But a lot of that is due to people not getting the right advice. A lot of that is due to people not planning ahead, getting the right lawyers on board. But also, prices have come down so much. Now you're looking at Spain, especially the Costas, that if you're looking at a lot of Brits that have come back, they're very much minded to sell. There's some amazing bargains to be had out there, as long as you're buying there to hold for a long time. If you're looking to buy a property to hold for a year or two, I would say you shouldn't be looking to buy a property at all anyway. But if you're looking to buy a property to hold it for 10 years or so, then Spain might not be a bad place to have a look.
With that long-term vision in mind, where else in the world would you call a particular hotspot for property buyers?
Hotspots and great places to buy are all misleading ways of looking at property. What you must do if you're looking to buy a property is assess what you want. Do you want capital growth? And are you prepared to put money into a high risk area where the market is not established? Then yeah, maybe look at places like Brazil. If you want a steady income stream, look at buying places where there are very good tourism numbers, where there are very good flights, and you end up having to put more money in, but you take less risk.
More and more people are building their own dream home. Is this a realistic plan for Brits abroad?
It's a really exciting thing to do. Looking to build your own property there is an even huger leap, but it's even more exciting and potentially more rewarding. But you've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to think, can I do this? How much experience do I have? How fluent am I in the language? How much time can I afford to go over there and look after this project? If you're thinking about building your own project or building your own property abroad and you can't stay there full time, then you probably shouldn't be looking at that. If you can't speak the language, you probably shouldn't be looking at that. And most importantly, if you have no experience whatsoever within the building industry or within any kind of property, then it's probably not for you yet. Perhaps a refurbishment is the first step, and then building your own property is a step 2 or step 3. But I would never say no to anyone about building their own property. I would say, with reservations, yes.
And really know what you're taking on.
You're taking on, look, let's be honest, you're taking on a lot buying property abroad. You're taking on a whole lot more building your own property. You're looking at so many factors that can go wrong, but so much that can go right. I mean, at the end of the day, you will have the ideal property in hopefully the ideal part of the world. What could be better? But nothing good is ever easy, and you see on television programmes people pulling their hair out because things go wrong. It's hard to build a property in Britain, never mind abroad.
And now, what about the wherewithal? Any essential tips for how to fund this property abroad?
A lot of people look at the property, then they start looking at the area, and then when they've decided on buying the property and they've got the bid sorted out and it's accepted, then they start looking at the funding. First of all, one of the main things you should do is look at the funding right at the start. Know how much money you've got to spend. And by that I don't mean, right, I think I'd like to spend £200,000. You go to the bank, you speak to financial advisors, and they tell you your budget, how much it's going to cost to borrow that money. And then once you've got your budget, then you look at your overheads, your costs of purchase. At least 10% you need to knock out of that budget for the solicitor's fees, for accountancy fees, tax planning, surveyor's costs. And then after that budget is reduced even further, it's probably your residual budget. And then you've got to look at where you're getting your money from. How do you convert your money from sterling, which isn't doing great at the moment unless you're going to buy in South Africa, to probably the euro or maybe US dollars or Australian dollars? And by that, you have to go to a currency expert, like Halo, like Moneycorp, like Travelex. You need to get that advice because you might not buy a property for, say, 12 months, but you can order your currency now. And so if you can get advice from an expert who says, look, we think sterling is strong now and it's going to get weaker in the next 8 months, then you probably need to buy your currency now and hold it. And therefore, you might be 5-10 grand better off when you come to buy your property.
Excellent advice. Jonnie Irwin, thank you very much for talking to Expat Money Channel.
My pleasure. Nice to see you.